Ben, as always, let's dive right in. Thoughts?
I think the first 2/3 of this film are really, really quite good, and it kind of lost me in the third act.
Mm-hmm.
What it was is I thought they were going to take me to somewhere really unique as far as like from a plot standpoint on what was going to unfold, and it just got really cartoony and formulaic, and like it kind of lost me. Everything got tied up in a nice, neat little bow. And so I came away from it like, was there opportunity here for something a little more substantial? Or am I just reading too much into it? But it's conceptually, and I don't know how much we want to play spoiler, but like...
Let's play spoiler. Let's just go right into it,
For
everybody.
me, like, it felt like the script... I know it's based on a novel, but I'm... like, it's still an adaptation, but I felt like the script had the, how do I want to phrase this? With the Expendable, I felt like conceptually they had it something interesting there with an Expendable, and then the Expendable dying, and then the new one, and on and on and on. I felt like they had researched or spent more time developing that. And then once there were two of them, it was almost more than they knew what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of getting something really interesting with two Pattinsons running around, it just sort of felt like it was on rails. And I just would have been way more intrigued if 18 was like completely evil.
Yeah.
Like, not just mean, but like if he actually became the ultimate adversary for 17 rather than Ruffalo's
crazy
like, politician.
slash.
All that to say, I had a good time with it. But I was wanting something more from the final act. I think that's really all it can boil down to. I felt like it lost steam for me anyway.
Well, yeah, I agree. And I think for me, I was expecting something a lot more on kind of the discussion about cloning and like, are you really still the same person? Especially when they made 18 such a divergent or, so different from the other 17, the other 17 of this character of Mickey, of just like, he was far more aggressive. He was far more confident. He was far more this. And so like, I felt like, what, obviously we kind of know some of the, why some of that happened, but like, it's like, who are you? Are this just another person? Is this a completely different side of you? Is this just what has always been beneath? It just hasn't gotten to the surface. Like there were conversations that you could have. And I like your idea of it being the antagonists. I enjoyed it like the entire way through. I also was kind of a little bored near the end. I wasn't a huge fan of Ruffalo's character and like that whole thing. I almost wanted to see more of just what's Stephen Yeun's Timo, like that whole dynamic. Like that was much more interesting, of like someone who personally knows you, who has basically just used you and has tricked you for your entire life, and just kind of like him being the big bad at the end would have been, or would have been fine too. But I think the switch over it didn't feel earned. It just didn't feel, I wasn't as interested. Like this, it just kind of was like, I don't really have a lot of emotion into Ruffalo's character of why this is so bad. I mean, obviously the evils of the rich and powerful and how they don't care about us and they see us all as expendable. Yeah. Sure. No.
I knew what the film was getting at as far as like its critique of what, colonialism and quote unquote late stage capitalism and just being a cog in the, the corporate or industrial wheel. I understand all that. The tonality of the film shifted as well. It was actually pretty bleak for those first 2/3 were really pretty bleak. You watching all these people around him and how they don't value him at all just because they've got this, 3D printer upstairs to pump him back out. They just treat him, they're deplorable in how they handle him. And that was really fascinating, uncomfortable to watch, but really intriguing. And then it kind of jettisoned all that once they discover this planet and land. then it just felt way too conventional, like all the way through. And you're right, none of it felt like earned. It just felt like, really, this is where we decided to go? And if that's the novel, then that's the novel, and I can't fault the director necessarily if they couldn't come up with something more interesting to take it narratively. I don't know, it's not bad, but and even when it tries to be funny, it's really not that funny, and it just ends up being like kind of awkward.
Well, the problem, it's hard to get behind Mickey 17 because he's so taken advantage of, like, almost so much forward to a default that I'm like, I don't even feel sorry for him. Like, he does this to himself, kind of a thing. Like, it's not like he's trying to be, he's trying to be a good person, but it's more like you're just a kind of an idiot, and not even having any type of backbone, kind of a thing. So that was kind of frustrating. I did love Pattinson's performance, though.
Oh yeah.
I think he was absolutely stunning in this. Like, I understand why he did it. And I had high hopes. I did go in with higher expectations probably than I should, just because I do really like Snowpiercer and Parasite, which was directed by this guy. And I thought those were both excellent. And so definitely Parasite a lot. I really liked Parasite, and Snowpiercer was enjoyable. But this one was like, there are trappings of good in here, and for a perfectly fine movie. Though one of the fun facts about the director, the book is actually called Mickey 7, but they changed it to Mickey 17, so he had more chances to kill him in the movie.
Okay.
I was like, that makes sense, but also kind of what you're talking about in the movie of like you're just like not treating the character like real. I just want to kill him more, much like the people in the movie want to do. Just like, oh, let's just put you out in radiation and kill you and just be okay with it and find out how it.
Yeah, I guess one of the ways I can kind of describe things is most of the movie feels like people driven, like as far as like relationships and him with his girlfriend, and then it pivots and the movie's like just very event or circumstance driven, and it loses something for me when that happens. You get little dots and pepperings of like the older people driven kind of story choices. One of my favorite moments is when Mickey reveals, like, I forget his girlfriend's name. I'm trying to remember. Nasha.
Yeah.
Nasha. So they reveal that Nasha, like, forced her way into the cold chamber to be with him when he was dying, and that was a really cool moment, like, to just understand the depths of how much she cared about him. But it was like so far towards the end of the film that it was like too much craziness was happening around it for it to like have like a, I don't know, for the weight of that moment to really hit. And I can only assume, maybe I'm just reading my own American perspective in it, but the aliens totally to me felt like a critique of like the American bison that roamed the plains and like that were killed by tens of thousands by settlers that the Indians, Native Americans would loosely hunt, but not over hunt their population, because they even kind of looked like it roaming around down there. But yeah, there's a lot of
think about that, but yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I mean, there's an anti-fascist message in this, like
anti-colonialism,
corporate greed, like it's all packed in. It's generally not, for most of it's not super preachy. They do hammer real hard, like when politics and like a twisted form of religion get intertwined. They definitely hammer that real hard. I felt like maybe it's trying to do too much, like hand wringing, but
it felt like a little preachy at times, of just like, it was like you said, trying to hit you over the head, like, hey, you need to get this thing, instead of staying subtle and let the person kind of come onto their own. It was like, hey, here's the point. This is the point of the movie. If you miss it, come on, don't miss it. Here's the point. This is do it right now. Let's watch it.
So
let's
it
learn.
Felt like a political version at times, like a political version of those. I'm just going to be honest. Those like bad Christian movies where like the messaging takes, the messaging, even if it's good messaging, takes precedence over narrative
story.
It does that at times. Most of the movie it didn't, and that's where I really liked it. And I could tell the moment where I'll tell you what happened. I could tell the moment where it started to lose me because I pushed the down arrow on my remote to just see how much time was left. And there was still like 40 minutes left in the film, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, I would definitely say this is one of those movies that needs to cut 20 minutes out of it. So
yeah.
It's frustrating. And it does one of the things, I'm not a huge fan of this because most times, I mean, if it's done well, I'm fine. But most times it's just really not we start the movie like in the future and then like the first half
there was no good
backstory.
There was literally no good reason to do it.
No. Like, we could have just been on this journey with them, you know? Like, I know we're getting narration to kind of get everyone up to speed, and I know, we have a friend who thinks that's very lazy and dumb, and in a lot of ways, in this was...
It kind of was lazy in this, yeah. I felt like it was
didn't
a crutch.
need it. I felt like, one, we could have, been, without the narration, we could have seen more of Mickey getting taken advantage of or not being confident, and those kind of...
Here's the thing.
Kind of grown with him. Yeah.
I thought there was a huge missed opportunity and you would have had to market this movie very differently, and I don't know what that looks like, because the fact that he was an expendable and dying and coming back was heavily advertised in the marketing for the film. But I'm telling you, on a first watch, it would have been so fascinating if you open with Mickey getting in trouble like he's apt to do, and signing up for this, and that you as the viewer, just like him, don't know what he's signing up for. And that he does, like, he goes on the ship, he's on there for a couple months until he's asked to do this thing, and he dies. And the viewer, like, oh crap, he's dead. And then he gets printed out, and that's all revealed, like, for the first time, like, oh, holy smokes, like, this is what he signed up for. As a reveal would have been fabulous.
Yeah. Well, especially if you like really do more of the memories he keeps from time to time. Like, you go half the movie with him dying, having died all these times, but you don't know about it until maybe, Nasha stumbles onto it. Because remember, like, he backs it up like week by week, but not right before he dies. So he doesn't know he's dead. So like maybe he just kind of wakes up and they're not telling him. They have him do these things, kill him, and then wakes up and they just said, oh yeah, you fell and you hit your head. You're just, getting, you're in the
they
infirmary or whatever. And like that could have been like this darker, like suspenseful film of like what's actually happening to him, of like, why are these things? And then you just rumors of like, oh yeah, some guy died trying to do something outside the ship or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Gosh, but yeah, I mean, it is really dark. I remember the scene where they're like, he's dying of radiation. And they tell him to take his glove off.
Yeah. And then his whole hand gets cut off.
Yeah.
Like, just ridiculous.
And it's not even the problem, or not problem, but the shock value of that scene isn't so much the hand coming off. It's the cold, like, oh, that's neat reaction of his medical team that are inside. And how, oh, whoa, did you see that? They just so inhumane the way he's handled and treated, and that was where the film was strongest, was that messaging of like, the potentially inhumane nature of like big corporate entities and their workers, especially if they're in doing dangerous jobs. I was reading an article the other day about the Golden Gate Bridge, and that even though they had a safety net that a guy came up with that they put underneath of it during construction, still like 7, 8, 9 guys died.
Holy cow.
But in the bridge projects prior to that, the numbers were like 40.
Oh.
That would fall.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that stuff like that when I was watching this, just like we just forget that, like the way skyscrapers were like built in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s in like New York and Chicago, and you would lose workers all the time. Like, the U.S. is kind of, I mean, there's industrial accidents, but like it's not to that scale. But this movie reminded me of like that era of building and trying to push barriers and such.
So I kind of also took it as kind of a thought process of like where we're going as society of whatever, less so about like our own humanity, but how we treat sometimes our technology or the upcoming like, robots or AI and those kind of things. They're obviously, we don't treat them as humans, so we don't, care about them and those. It's like I took some of that too from what this whole movie was kind of about, of like just treating the, not saying they deserve humanity, but just like not caring or doing whatever. Of like, at what point do you become human enough or aware enough to actually be treated with some type of respect or whatever? But obviously that's not really what it's about. But
well, I think there's a little bit of an indictment in it on the unwillingness of of science and medicine often to discuss ethics first rather than the technology. It's just, let's just push it out and we'll have that discussion later. And it's like you've opened Pandora's box already, and now it makes the discussions much more difficult. So,
well, it's like that famous Jeff Goldblum quote. They kept thinking of whether or not they could, and they never stopped to think whether they should. That's from Jurassic Park.
Yes, chaos theory there.
Anyway, sorry, I had to. It's too perfect not to quote.
Yes, but Pirates of the Caribbean, pirates don't eat the tourists.
That's such a
so that's
movie.
What this movie was missing was Jeff Goldblum. Because Jeff Goldblum should have played the politician. He'd have been
instead of Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Ruffalo. I did like Ruffalo's fake teeth though. That was a nice touch.
I just think again, it was so faceless. Even though like they kind of built it up or like from the beginning and talked about this, but I didn't have any emotional attachment. Again, I felt more hatred towards Timo than I did, Ruffalo's character, and it was just like that for me was the true bad guy. Was the guy who knew Mickey, was quote unquote friends with Mickey, but yet continually took advantage of him.
Yeah.
And like that's who I really wanted to get hurt.
No, I can see that, and I agree with that. I don't know. Collete was really good. She's always really good. Mm-hmm. And anything she's pretty much in. But yeah, Ruffalo, I didn't think the character was well written enough that it mattered who played him. It wasn't that Ruffalo was like bad at it. It just, and he's a bumbling idiot. I mean, he doesn't have an original thought of his own. His wife's feeding him whatever it is to say. So he's two-dimensional. Most of the other characters feel pretty well fleshed out. I guess his ilk don't. Like he's got his scientist, he's got his religious guy, his religious leader feeding him information, and they all felt like kind of cardboard cutouts. There was no nuance to them at all. And I think it needed that. If you're going to say, "Oh, this is what people that are like have it in for you," really out of their own selfish ambition, then I think you need to make them have more nuance on like why they do what they do.
And maybe not as wild takes, like a little more grounded.
Oh, I felt like I was watching a cartoon. And the music, like, it felt like a chaotic like cartoon moment when the little creepers came out of the rock and are running around, and it was like, it sounded like Benny Hinn or something. Benny Hill. Benny Hill, yeah. Benny Hinn was I think was a televangelist.
It wasn't him, but yeah, it just, it was just interesting.
But I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
It's original, right? I mean, we can get into...
this is what we want.
This is supposedly what we want.
Yeah, this is supposedly what we want.
And then and then Alec and I just crap all over it. No, I'm just kidding.
But we both watched it. See, that's the and that's the thing is like, I want original ideas that some are going to be great, some are not going to be great.
Absolutely.
But I don't want this just middling same over and over and over again. Like, yes, this is not great. I went to go see it. I want more stuff like this. Some of it's going to be absolutely stunning. Some of it's going to be worse than even this, but they took a chance. They tried something new. But and they're definitely not going to get any, like, this is going to be hard because the budget was like 118 and like the worldwide gross was 133 mil. So,
man, that's expensive. 118,
million is estimated budget or whatever. But so you're talking, you made $15 million,
and it had a good marketing budget behind it, because I remember seeing the trailers and such.
Yeah, so you are in the hole a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think. Hopefully, this doesn't affect Pattinson, because again, I don't think this is not. I mean, I don't even know if it's the director's fault. Maybe some of the source material, like you said, but
Pattinson will be fine, man.
Yeah.
And he's reminding me so much of a chameleon nature, not unlike Christian Bale.
Mm-hmm.
Like where I'm getting into places where I'm not really cognizant that I'm watching Pattinson. Man, his voice change work in this was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
As 17.
Even 18 has a different voice in 17, and even himself. So like.
In 17, he carries himself shorter. Like, his posture's not as good. So 18's, like, considerably taller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's... Pattinson's... in his generation, like, his age, he might be the best.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's turned 40 yet or not.
I'm looking. 86.
Nope.
So, no, he'd be 40 next year. But again, you're going to tell me the guy from Twilight is one of the best actors of our time, like of our age bracket?
He's becoming it. I mean, it's
ridiculous, but
it's starting to happen.
Oh.
Now, have you seen The Lighthouse yet?
Yes.
You did see that. Okay.
Yeah. He's fantastic at that too.
He is.
Like, not that movie is
bonkers.
Yeah. I think that's nice.
Makes this movie look like super
easy. Like, this is so generic, but I mean, like, I just see him in stuff like, watching him in The King, watching him in Tenet, watching him in this, like watching him in the Batman, of just how different. I mean, in Lighthouse, like how different, how much his range is of, like, again, like you said, I'm no longer seeing him, I'm just seeing the character.
Yeah.
Like when I watch, especially watch Mickey 17, I'm not thinking of Batman. I'm not thinking of his character in Tenet. Like they're so different, of just his physicality, his dialogue, his talking, that he's starting to no longer be there. It's just whatever character's there. So like, I don't even know who he is, like, in real life. Like, is he anything like any of these characters? Maybe he's a vampire.
He's very private.
Maybe that's what he is.
He's very private. Yeah, he doesn't. He's proof that, like, you have to like seek out and go where the paparazzi can, like, find you. Mm-hmm. He'll get snapped now and again, but he does notoriously have a low profile. And I'm still just waiting to see, like, will Nolan headline a movie with him? Because he is going to be in the Odyssey.
Yes.
But I'm wondering, is it the next film? Like, whatever's after the Odyssey, is that, where Pattinson's going to headline it?
Is Pattinson going to be the new Cillian Murphy and going to be in, like, 6 films before he gets to headline?
That's possible.
Or he's the new Kane, or, oh my goodness, what's his name?
Hardy.
Yeah,
Hardy was in quite a few as well. But
yeah,
it's not really ever had Hardy headline one though.
What Hardy was in 2, wasn't he? He was in Inception,
3,
and Rises,
Dunkirk.
I always forget he's in Dunkirk. Yeah, I mean, he's got his face covered for most of it, and you can understand him less in Dunkirk than you could in Rises.
Okay, contractually, I'm going to do your movie, but in the contract, I have to wear a mask. I'm sorry. I have to wear a mask and I have to be unintelligible. And that's my only requirement, and I'll do your movie.
I could just see him in Dunkirk just going to practice the line, because you adopted this guy. I was born in it. As he's flying around in the Spitfire. Sorry. It gets me every time that you adopted the dog.
That's not as bad as the line, though, is when he walks out on the football field. It's like, what a lovely voice.
I am Gotham's Reckoning. Interesting choice that Tom Hardy made. But, hey, I digress. That's a different movie. But in forward. Anything else that you'd like to talk about for Mickey?
No, I mean, on a technical level, well shot. Like, visual effects look good. I'll tell you, Pattinson playing himself doubled up is seamless in camera. It looks really, really good. Like, they do rack focus from one to the next. it's impressive. There's certain setups where you can tell, oh, that was just a simple split screen, but then there's other times where he's right up there on him, and it's like adding the frames, like very tedious work that those visual effects artists would have had to do. By the way, there's a really funny featurette rolling around on Facebook and YouTube. It opens up with Tom Cruise going, yeah, so we shot all the jets for Top Gun Maverick, and no CGI with the jets, and side by side is all the CGI work that the post houses have released, and then it cuts to another director. It's all shot in camera, no CGI, and it's like all the composite work. It's all basically they're saying now when you hear that in the promos, there's a ton of CGI.
Yeah.
Like a ton of compositing work. So
it's just a
yeah. No, this movie's pretty good looking, and you can tell that they. I appreciated the fact that the little alien creeper baby was a real prop. That was great. Things like that were a really nice touch. I'll tell you, there was a really cool shot. I don't know if they used anything like the volume for it, but probably not. Probably green screen or blue screen, but it just looked really cool. Was they're heading on the outside of the ship to go down to the surface, and there was a lot of glass, and you could kind of see off the distance, and then it was like a glass floor below them as well. It was just like, what a cool looking set. And it wasn't closed off, right? Like you could see outside, but it just looked really convincing. Like it didn't feel like a set. It felt like, oh, these guys are really on this large ship that's landed and they're getting ready to head out. So on a technical level, like it's all handled really nicely.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things about this movie. I mean, it's IMDb has it at a 6.7 right there. So like I feel that's about right. So there's a lot of good. But there's just some very weak points in this. So
yeah, it's a third act issue, and honestly, it's really common in filmmaking. It's really easy to start things and then have a beginning and a nice compelling middle, and it's just really difficult to end things. Yeah, it just is. Otherwise, there would be more movies with like really good endings, and there aren't that many. So I think it's worth a watch. Yeah, I guess that would be my big critique is like the tonal shift. I would have probably preferred it either just stay really kind of bleak and serious all the way through, or been much, much funnier from the onset.
From the beginning, yeah. Yeah. And get rid of the narration and get rid of the flashback nature of the first half.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. We fixed it. Done. Done. Easy peasy. Why these people didn't see this stuff? It's beyond me. Come on.
And I just want to say for the record, I don't like dumping on stuff like this because I'm still a huge believer. Alec and I both, you and me, man, huge fans of Theodore Roosevelt's Man in the Arena speech.
Yeah.
So like our critique is our own. It's not a big deal. We still have immense respect and understanding of how hard it is to make movies and make them good and compelling, and we're not doing it. We're just bloviating. But yeah, this one just
didn't fire on all cylinders.
No, probably didn't reach its full potential, but it's still not bad and totally watchable. And Pattinson's one of the best. Absolutely one of the best. Yeah.
Just for his performance in this is worth watching. Just
I think so too. Yeah.
Do it. Yeah. He's great. So